The story drops everyone right into the main square of a tribe where things look pretty old school. The place has this simple, rough around the edges feel, nothing fancy, just the basics. It's the kind of spot where people hang out, talk, and get stuff done, all surrounded by buildings that look like they've been there forever. From far away, there's a group of guys standing around a girl. She looks nervous and her hands won't stop shaking. One of the guys notices and points it out to the others. As everyone gets a better look, it turns out she's actually a fox girl. One of the guys nearby can't help himself and tries to touch her, forgetting all about personal space. Suddenly the guy bolts awake, practically yelling for everyone to back off. His heart's pounding and he's totally on edge, like he just had the worst nightmare ever. There's no one around, but he still feels jumpy, looking around the room as if something could happen any second. Stood up looking around, not really sure what was going on. He could hear someone yelling nearby, which left him scratching his head, trying to figure out what all the noise was about. He holds his head, trying to steady himself. Everything feels like it's spinning, and he can't figure out where he's ended up. At that moment, one of the guys got mad. He said the girl had bitten him and started shouting, telling the others to get her out of there. The main guy has no idea what's happening right now. He steps out of the hut and suddenly finds himself standing right in front of the strange man. One of the guys rolls his eyes, clearly annoyed, and points out that the girl is basically treated like a servant. He shrugs, acting like it makes total sense that doesn't like her. People in the crowd start whispering to each other, passing around rumors that Lee isn't exactly innocent himself. He starts to wonder if he somehow ended up inside a novel. He spots the girl getting pushed around and suddenly it clicks. She's the main girl from the story. That's when he remembers the title of the novel he landed in. The villain's heroines are obsessed with me. One of the guys turned around and called him a. That's when it finally clicked for him. He understood what was really going on. Right then it hits him, he's the bad guy here. The guy passes the club over to our hero, putting it right in his hands. The news came in that the runaway slave had been caught. Now it was responsibility to handle the situation. The main guy remembered reading about the villain in the story, and he couldn't help but think it was pretty lame that the bad guy only stuck around for 3 days. It honestly felt like a scam. Suddenly, a bright light shows up. Out of nowhere, a huge beam of energy shoots straight down from the sky. Out of nowhere, a floating sphere showed up. It called itself Do-Ding, the plot system. The system lays it all out for him. His job now is to help turn these villainesses around. If he does it right, they'll end up falling for him. Lee pauses, surprised and a bit confused, wondering if the system really messed up the story. Ding lets him know that once a villain's corruption hits 5 stars, it's all over for him. No second chances. Suddenly, his phone buzzed with a new notification. The system was telling him something was up. The girl's corruption value was climbing way faster than it should. One of the guys notices Lee just standing around and thinks it's a bit weird. He points it out to get attention, wanting him to check out what he's about to do. He hits her. He looks over, totally confused, and tries to figure out what's going on. The guy jumps a little when the protagonist yells, clearly not expecting it. His eyes go wide for a second and he freezes, caught off guard by the sudden noise. Lee moves in front of the girl, blocking her from anyone trying to mess with her. He stands there, making it clear he wants to see if anyone's actually brave enough to pick on her now. Suddenly, a woman with green hair appeared, looking pretty confident. She had this look on her face like she knew something no one else did, and it caught everyone's attention right away. Lee stepped in front of, catching everyone off guard. She didn't expect someone like him to have her back, especially now. For a second she just stared, not sure what to think about this sudden move. The system flashes a warning that the corruption level is climbing way quicker than before, and our hero just stands there, confused. No matter how hard he thinks, he can't figure out what's causing it. It's like the whole thing is getting out of control, and he's stuck trying to solve a problem he doesn't understand. Lee couldn't believe he hadn't noticed sooner. He was now his main target. He kept replaying everything in his head, frustrated at himself for missing the obvious signs. Now things were about to get a lot more complicated. He thinks it over for a second, then decides to switch things up. He goes with a whole new plan. He thinks of the girl as someone important to him and doesn't want anyone else getting involved. For him, it's personal, and he's not interested in sharing or letting others step in. The guys look at and realize he's still the same as ever, acting all possessive about his stuff. He steps up and warns everyone to back off, making it clear that nobody should mess with her again. The guys around him pick up on his serious vibe and start thinking twice about getting involved. The fox girl thinks something's off about this. The thing turned its head and stared at her. The girl can't figure out what's up with him. She glances his way, trying to make sense of how he's acting. He waves her off, telling her to get home quickly. As she leaves, the system pops up with a message, letting him know he did a good job. He lost his cool and snapped at her, clearly fed up. Patience definitely wasn't his thing right now, and anyone could see he was reaching his limit. The girl holds a sharp rock tight in her hand, stands up and eyes the protagonist with suspicion, clearly not ready to trust him yet. The hero and the fox girl started walking off together, not realizing someone was keeping an eye on them from far away. The mysterious woman with green hair watched Lei and started to think he was becoming becoming more interesting. Lee steps up, taking on the villain's role. He gives the girl a cold look and pushes her to hurry up, making sure everyone knows he's not messing around. The fox girl looks really tired, barely managing to stand. Out of nowhere, she trips and hits the ground. He looks at her and can't help but notice how rough things are for her right now. He starts thinking about what he can do to help, feeling like it's up to him to step in and make things better. Back at his place, he flops down on his bed, scrolling through the system on his phone. He wonders if the system has some kind of starter pack, maybe a little boost to help him get going. The system let him know he only had 10 points, but still brought up the item shop for him. Looks at his points and realizes there aren't enough to get anything good. He knows he'll have to save up more if he wants something actually useful. He looks around and spots some women's clothes that only cost 2 points, so he grabs a set and adds it to his stuff. He started to get worried. It had already been 3 days and she still hadn't woken up. He couldn't help but check on her over and over, hoping each time that she'd open her eyes. Out of nowhere, sighs start to open. The system chimes in, sounding pretty excited that the fox girl is up at last. Lee spots her and lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding. She looks all right, and he can finally relax knowing she's safe. He walks over holding a bowl of food and sets it down in front of her, making it clear she should eat. Out of nowhere, her corruption level shot up fast. The hero noticed right away and started freaking out, his mind racing as he tried to figure out what was happening. The corruption points keep going up since she's convinced there's poison in it. He just pretends to be a cop. He kept going with what he was doing and told to finish the whole thing, making it clear that if she didn't, he'd make sure it happened anyway. The guy shoved the bowl into her hands and made it clear she had to drink the medicine immediately, or else he'd kick her out. The girl felt scared as she picked up the weird drink. Even though she thought things were over for her, she went ahead and drank it. Once she was done, she looked at him, waiting to see if he needed anything else. At that moment, the fox girl really believes she's done for. She can't see any way out and thinks this is the end for her. Hearing that, she starts to panic. It gets so overwhelming that she actually thinks about just ending it all herself. The hero catches on to what she's about to do and steps in, making it clear he's not messing around. He gives her a look that says to back off, showing he's serious and not willing to let things slide. He sets down a plate loaded with food, making sure she has something to eat. As he heads out, a green snake keeps an eye on her and starts asking him about what he's wearing and the food he's carrying. The reptile starts to light up, its body shifting and transforming, all while its mind stays focused on the boy. The snake suddenly changes shape, turning into a woman with green hair. She stands tall, her presence impossible to ignore. She remembers there was something about him that stood out, but she brushes it off, thinking it's probably nothing important. A few other fox girls showed up and waved at the woman, who everyone knew as Jenny. They wanted her to come over and help them pick some fruit. Nods and flashes the other girls a sly grin, like she's got a plan and she's ready to stir things up. He wondered if anyone would even bother to ask the girl if she deserved to eat at all. He thinks she looks like she just crawled out of a dumpster and wants her to hurry up and get changed. The main guy gives her a warning. He makes it clear that if she leaves even one crumb behind, he's ready to dump the whole thing right on her head. The corruption level ticks up by 1, and the system reports that she still believes the food might be poison. He starts to think about what the last owner must have put her through. He grabs the chicken leg, acting like she's not good enough for it, and then eats it himself without a second thought. He steps out, making sure to lock the door behind him. He didn't expect to react like that. It caught him off guard, and for a second he just stood there, not really sure what to think. Out of nowhere, the food our hero had left behind started moving, almost like it had a mind of its own. She grabs the chicken leg and starts eating fast, barely stopping to breathe. It's gone in seconds and she doesn't even care if anyone's watching. She eats quickly, trying to hold back her emotions, but it's clear she's struggling. She keeps eating, and as she does, tears start rolling down her face. It finally hits her that the food's actually safe. For the first time, the system pops up with some good news. Its corruption level just dropped. It's a small win, but it actually feels like things might be going in the right direction. He can't figure out why the guy who used to have this body would hurt someone as awesome as her. He stares at himself in the mirror, noticing how messy and dirty he looks. He can't help but think he really needs to clean up. The system admits it barely remembers what the original was like, since her description was super short and not detailed at all. The system points out that the main character in the novel hasn't taken a shower in 3 months. That really grosses the hero out. He can't help but cringe at the thought, realizes he's lost this round, and not wanting to stay that dirty, decides to use one of his points just to get some shower gel. He decided to go for it and took the deal, right after the system gave him the bath stuff he needed. He spots a chance to grab a first aid kit for just 1 point, thinking it'll help him patch up the fox girl. He finds out from the system that everything he buys from the shop is his to keep for good. This catches him off guard. He expected some kind of limit or timer, but nope, it's all permanent. The main guy checks in with the system to see if dinner made it there yet. Thinking she's probably done eating by now, he pushes the door open with his foot, not bothering to knock. The fox girl notices him and suddenly freezes. She's caught off guard and her food just sits there untouched. The main guy starts to think about why the girl hasn't eaten anything yet. Then the system chimes in and lets him know she's still hurt. The main guy stared her down, his voice low and serious. He didn't look happy at all as he pointed out the food she hadn't finished, making it clear he wasn't okay with anyone wasting a meal. He flashes a weird grin, making it clear she won't forget what happens to people who don't finish their food. He shoots her a cold, intense look that makes her freeze up. She starts sweating, clearly scared of the main guy. He sits down beside her as she quickly finishes her food, looking scared the whole time. The hero reaches into his pocket and takes something out. Quietly slips his hand into his pocket, thinking he's figured out another way to get under her skin. He grabs her leg and gently dabs it with a cotton ball. She tenses up right away, thinking he's putting something bad on her. He figured it was easier if she just thought he was the bad guy. Trying to explain himself would only make things messier. So he kept quiet, letting her believe whatever she wanted, even if it made him look like the villain. While she eats, the protagonist keeps messing with her, trying to get a reaction. He doesn't let up, tossing out little jabs and teasing her whenever he gets the chance. She tries to focus on her food, but it's pretty clear he's enjoying getting under her skin. Li Wanya grabs her hand and starts helping out with her injuries. He's careful but honest, letting her know the cuts are going to hurt. Even though it stings, he keeps working, making sure she's okay. He wraps up tending to her injuries, making sure everything looks okay before he steps back. The guy finished putting on the medicine and let everyone know he was heading out. His eyes go wide for a second. It hits him that the stuff he just put on her wasn't anything weird, it was just medicine. She rushes after him, not wanting him to walk out and leave her by herself. She looks at him a little unsure and checks if he's in the wrong room. Outside, the cold hits hard, making him shiver. He tells himself it'll be worth it to tough out the freezing night. He figures that once she wakes up and notices her wounds are gone, her corruption level will go way down. The system breaks down the score for him, showing that it's split between corruption and affection. Right now, he only has 7 points left, which makes things feel pretty tense. The guy doesn't seem nervous at all. He figures there's nothing to stress about, since he's pretty sure he'll score a bunch of points once wakes up. Out of nowhere, he notices a weird sound coming from the hut. He gets really mad and calls her out for turning on him, thinking she doesn't appreciate anything he's done. Helped the fox girl, expecting at least 1 point for his trouble, but when he checked, his score was stuck at 0. He frowned, clearly annoyed that all his effort didn't pay off. The hero drifts off, his mind wandering as he zones out. He notices how bad he smells and starts thinking the guy who had this body before him must been a real slob. He looks at himself and thinks if he cleaned up and wore some decent clothes, girls would probably notice him. Thinking it might help him look better, the main guy heads to the bathroom to take a bath. He finally uses a point to grab a bath kit, looking forward to getting cleaned up at last. The next morning wakes up when he hears the door open. He sits up quickly, surprised by the sudden noise. Shows up at the door looking fresh and put together. It's obvious he took some time to clean up, and there's a hint of cologne in the air. Stares at his reflection, barely believing what he sees. He looks so different now that he hardly knows himself. The surprise hits him hard, and for a moment he just stands there, trying to figure out how this even happened. The guy couldn't help himself. He started showing off, trying to catch her attention. He wanted to know if she thought he was good-looking, maybe even irresistible. Out of nowhere, steps back, looking scared that old darkness inside her starts creeping up again, getting stronger. The main character watches as his corruption points keep climbing higher, but he can't figure out what's going on. The numbers just go up, leaving him confused and a little uneasy. He thinks about it and figures he'd probably act the same way if some random good-looking dude just showed up out of nowhere. He just hits the wall with his fist. The guy couldn't help but notice she was still in those worn-out clothes. He was pretty loud about it too, clearly not getting why she hadn't changed yet. He kept up his act, picking on her for the worn-out clothes she had on. The protagonist reaches out and places his hand on her shoulder. Just figures she's dealing with some heavy stuff, and it's probably not going to be easy to help her out. The fox girl stares at him, her eyes wide and cautious. She doesn't trust him yet, and it's pretty clear she's scared. At that moment, the guy couldn't help but raise his voice, telling her to stop wasting time and just get changed already. She tries to come up with an excuse about needing to cook, but he doesn't let her finish. He just tells her straight up that her cooking isn't good. The main guy grabs her and sets her down on the bed, making it clear she shouldn't bother trying to cook again. He walks away, annoyed that nothing he does is getting him any closer to winning her over. He pushed the door open just a bit and looked inside, trying to figure out why the other guy was acting so weird. She notices the new clothes he put on the bed and checks them out. Everyone in remembered how he used to treat her so poorly, and now they couldn't help but notice how much he'd changed all of a sudden. Nothing was the same anymore. Couldn't figure out why he let her off the hook and even handed her fresh clothes. She glances down at her hand and sees the cuts aren't as bad as they were earlier. She can sense deep down that she shouldn't get tricked into believing he actually cares about her. The fox girl starts to overthink, getting suspicious that he's not done messing with her yet. She can't shake off the thought that he's probably coming up with something even worse. She holds on to the red dress, trying to calm herself down. Deep inside, she decides she just can't trust him right now. He comes to a halt, his footsteps suddenly silent. Figured that most girls enjoy nice clothes, and she thought picking out something cool to wear would help her feel better. She hoped it might even boost her mood and maybe help her score some extra points. The system pops up, showing that her corruption score just went up again. He freezes for a moment, not sure what to do as he stares at the screen, bothered by the sudden change. The main guy flops down on the floor, totally frustrated. He's had enough. Dealing with her just feels impossible, and right now all he wants to do is quit. The hero gets to work on his villain routine, acting like it's just bad luck to cross paths with him today. He keeps up the act, basically promising her that if she does what he wants, he'll let her off easy, no extra pain, just a fast ending so she won't have to deal with this mess for long. Switching things up, he checks with the system, wanting to know if he went hard enough. Dewey comes back and says he more than nailed it. No one really sees how much work he puts in when the cameras are off, since he always stays locked in as his character. And the system get pumped, both ready to do whatever it takes to make it out alive in this world. They're totally locked in, not backing down no matter what comes their way. When he walks into his place, he calls out, checking if anyone's around. He starts thinking about that Fox girl, wondering where she disappeared to this time. Right then steps out from behind the curtain, looking a little nervous. She's standing there, making it clear she never dipped or tried to hide. He starts moving toward her, putting on that tough guy act to keep everyone thinking he's the bad guy. Ely gets on her case, basically telling her she needs to shower and switch out of her dirty clothes because she's making him look bad. Drops to his knees, totally freaked out, stressing over her picking up firewood. He's worried she might mess up her injuries again if she keeps pushing herself. Just stands there, totally confused, not really sure what to make of how the hero's acting. The guy gestures at the fire, making it clear she needs to go clean herself up, no arguments. After that, he throws more wood onto the flames, keeping them burning strong. Goes along with it, but deep down, he knows she was kind of naive for thinking he'd ever actually change. In his mind, he's convinced he'll always stay the same. Now he gets her bath ready, letting the hot water run. He points toward the bathroom and signals that she needs to move fast and get in. She gets all flustered, but keeps up the act and roasts her, saying other girls are better looking. The system ends up calling him a weirdo for that move. He tells her to get moving and clean up, all while realizing he's acting weird again. Doesn't really have any options, so he just does what he's told and starts taking off his clothes to get ready for the bath. Eases her foot into the hot water, checking if it's good enough to jump in. As soon as hits the water, he starts thinking about what he might expect from her later, especially after everything that's happened today. Outside, stressing hard, handling by himself is already wild, but knowing he's got 6 more villainesses to deal with, that's just too much for one guy. He grumbles about wanting to be a hero, not just some guy chasing after girls, but the system hypes him up anyway, promising he'll have 7 tough girls fighting by his side. At that moment, the main guy feels this sudden boost of energy. He just accepts that simping is kinda part of the grind if it means reaching something bigger. Later that night, showed up at the door, letting him know she'd finished her bath just like he asked. He turns around and sees her, and for a second he's just frozen, totally caught off guard. Shows up wearing a new outfit and checks if it looks off on her. Her face goes bright red while she waits, but the guy just stays quiet, watching her and not saying anything. Acts like it's alright, but deep down, he's losing it and already thinking about buying her a ton of new clothes. Khufu can't figure out why he reacted that way and starts thinking he must not have liked how things went. That thought just brings him down, and he gets pretty bummed out about it. The guy wants to keep his cover, so he tells to hang out in his room and watch him while he sleeps. She doesn't see that coming at all. He throws out this wild threat, saying if she's gone when he wakes up, she's in for some serious consequences. So the two of them head over to the room, and just then the system pops up saying it actually worked. Her corruption isn't getting any worse. He lets her know to leave the buckets alone, since if she gets herself hurt again, he'll end up dropping even more cash on her. Finally gets it, he's just scared to spend cash because he's worried she might end up hurt or sick again. She can't help but feel kinda happy about it, even if she thinks it's just about the cash. By the end, she gets where he's coming from. Tears up, honestly just glad that even though she didn't make it out, things aren't nearly as rough for her now as they were before. Right then, doing let him know her corruption level dropped a lot. That got him 10 points and opened up the level 2 system shop. He can't help but tear up, totally overwhelmed with happiness. He hugs the system tight and it lets him know things are actually going their way. Right then, Lee's eyes lit up. He could tell his plan was finally working and you could see he was locked in, ready to keep pushing forward. He hopes that someday she'll get it. He's not who he used to be. Now all he wants is to see her happy and actually smiling for real. After a rough day, he just crashes on his bed, hoping to finally chill and catch some sleep. He suddenly opens his eyes wide. He walks in and spots Chilling on his bed, giving off major vibes that she's thinking about something else tonight. Beat Red's face goes bright red as he bolts out of bed, totally caught off guard and wanting to know what she's up to. Khufu admits that he's the one who asked her to come crash with him. He jumps up, looking all flustered while just stands there, not really getting why he's acting like that. shuts everything down and quickly tries to stop his nosebleed, hoping nobody notices and he doesn't end up totally embarrassed. The system throws up a warning about danger, so he keeps up his villain vibe and throws an insult her way, staying locked into his act. She starts wondering what's up with him, because the way he's acting doesn't match what he's saying at all. He totally loses it and starts ranting at her, annoyed that she misunderstood everything. He gets pretty annoyed and tells her to just crash on the bed. He's taking the floor way on the other side. He nudges her onto the bed, and she starts wondering if it's actually okay for her to crash there. He says the bed's so uncomfortable, he'd rather just crash on the floor tonight. Wonders if they're still doing anything, but he's not having it and just tells her to crash and get some sleep. So he just stretches out on the cold floor, only having one thin blanket to cover up with. He just goes with it and stretches out on the ground. She finally dozes off, and for once everything just feels chill and safe, like she can actually relax. That night gets hit with a nightmare that totally messes with his sleep. She dreams about the time a massive fire tore through her old village, burning everything down. People were sprinting, trying to get out before the fire took over everything. Little couldn't stop crying while she scrambled to get away from those crazy flames. As she tries to get away, an arrow catches her and she drops fast, barely able to move. Getting up isn't even an option, she's just stuck on the ground, totally drained. Out of nowhere, two guys grab her and toss her into a cage, basically planning to sell her off. Was stuck dealing with all the tough stuff she'd already gone through, and it really hit her hard. All those old problems and pain just kept coming back, making everything feel way heavier. Right now is tossing around in her bed, completely restless, while this weird dark energy starts building up around her. She wakes up to some loud noise, even though the system said getting her up wasn't easy. He wonders if Duan can see her dream, but the system lets him know her corruption is only getting worse. Turns out the system drops some info. She actually comes from a noble family, but somewhere along the line she got sold off and ended up as a slave. He remembers how the trauma basically locked up some of her powers, so he quietly wipes away her tears. Spots that's leg is still messed up, the wound hasn't gotten any better. He grabs his first aid kit and starts patching up her wound, making sure she's alright. He grabs some medicine and puts it on Sleg, hoping it'll help him heal up faster. He watches sleeping, noticing that even while she's out, the injury still gets to her. In her dream, gets hit with this awful pain and starts thinking he's doing it to her on purpose. She's convinced he set this whole thing up just to make her chill out, only so he could catch her off guard later when she's asleep. She stares him down, eyes burning, just wanting him to hurry up and get it done already. His pain was next level, enough that she thought even a pig wouldn't sleep through it. She reached out, trying to get her hands on something sharp. At the same time, our hero had already wrapped up helping her out and was now knocked out, crashed on the floor, totally out cold. Wakes up totally furious. She's set on getting back at him, making sure he feels everything she went through. Right as she's about to go for it, something weird starts happening. Her wound suddenly gets all itchy, catching her off guard. She looks down to check it out and can't believe how fast the wound's healed up. It's pretty much gone. Right then, figures out that the stuff he was putting on her, even though it stung, was actually some kind of medicine. Once she realized what was really going on, she started to like him more. Turns out he just wanted to help her, and that honestly made her see him in a better light. A new day kicks off at his place. Doing bursts in and shakes him awake, freaking out because something serious just went down. After that, the system drops some wild news. The main character from the original story actually got pulled into this world too. He starts freaking out because that hero everyone's hyped about is actually the same dude who used to mess with KUFU back in the day. Doing also lets everyone know he's about to outpace the hero real quick, thanks to his own skills. Thinks just dealing with is already tough enough, and then the system drops a warning. If the other dude comes out on top, they're getting wiped out. The system starts freaking out, thinking the main system might just wipe it out. He pauses for a sec, then suddenly it clicks. He figures out a smart way to deal with everything. He points out that his plan is actually paying off. He just picked up 30 points and the story's already switched up. Steps up totally sure of himself, making it clear that if anyone wants to move forward, they're gonna have to deal with him first. The hero decides not to make a big deal out of it and just watches this new rival, staying and seeing what he's about. While this is going on, notices him mumbling and starts thinking about who he could possibly be talking to. Heads over to where Sbed is. He gives her a light pat on the head, letting her know she should get some rest and hang tight until he gets back. So he heads out to handle his own stuff, while she gets some time to chill and recover. Khufu wakes up totally lost, thinking about what the hero was really trying to say with those words. Somewhere out in the forest, the main guy is already busy kicking off his next move. He's planning to bring over and set up a fake beast attack, just so he can swoop in and look like the hero who saved her. He suddenly freezes, picking up on that weird feeling you get when someone's got their eyes on you from the trees. He gets caught off guard and quickly calls out, wanting whoever's lurking to just come out and quit messing around. He moves in closer to the bushes, trying to see who's been sneaking around and watching him. Out of nowhere, a hand pops out from the bushes, and someone tells him to chill. Turns out they're both from the same tribe. Out of nowhere, this wolf lady with green hair showed up. She basically said his singing reminded her of some ghost wailing. She spots him and instantly remembers seeing him back at the town square. She checks if he's Lee, just to make sure she's got the right guy. He got pretty embarrassed and tried to brush it off, saying he was only singing to kill some time. He apologized, hoping it wouldn't get awkward. The girls start talking, saying they'd heard he wasn't good looking, but now that they see him, they think he's actually kinda cute. He catches every word they say about him, and you can just tell he's proud. He's grinning, feeling pretty good about himself with all those compliments. The green-haired woman notices that he's not the same guy she used to know. To her, he's switched up a lot and almost feels like a totally new person. The guy spots his chance and goes for it, asking the three girls what their names are. They start getting to know each other, and Yuan hands him a slice of watermelon. He really doesn't want to take the watermelon, making it super clear he just can't accept that kind of gift. Doesn't back down, he says they've got a whole stash from the mountain and tells him to give it a shot. She suddenly mentions that he should give it a shot too, and that totally throws him off guard. The hero flips the switch and starts acting like the bad guy, saying doesn't deserve a taste. Impressed, he thinks the hero's totally selling it. After that, Yuan grabs her phone and hits up her friends. They all agree it's time to bounce. Heads out with the group, but before she goes, she flashes the main character one last smile, then she's gone. He watches them walk off and just throws up a quick wave as they leave. He's by himself again, just stuck thinking about running into those girls out in the woods. Lee wondered if the system remembered anyone named Yuan from the original story. Doing just shakes his head and says he's not interested, thinking maybe his own vibe pulled in some attention from other girls. Hearing that, the main guy can't help but get a smug look, acting like he's on top of the world. Back in the kitchen, he's already thinking how making food always feels like a chore. He checks the flint box and it's completely empty. Now he's stuck, trying to figure out how he's supposed to get this fire going without it. Goes up to Doing, hoping he can help out, and starts thinking if Doing's got a lighter he could use. He gets what he wants from the system. A lighter shows up and all it costs him is just one tiny point. He's got that confident look, totally ready to flex the invention everyone's been talking about. This is his moment to shine, and he knows it. Right then shows up out of nowhere and asks if he's in the kitchen. It catches him totally off guard. He tries to play it chill and let everyone know he's in the room, but steps right on a lighter he didn't see lying on the floor. At first he acts normal, but then he suddenly switches up and snaps at her, wanting to know what she's even doing there. Khufu quietly lets them know she showed up to make their food, lets her know she should start cooking, while he's just over there messing around, trying to figure out how to light a fire on his own. He grabs a stick and starts grinding it against some wood, hoping he can get a spark going. He starts sweating, realizing making a fire like this is way tougher than he thought. He really doesn't want to mess up in front of her and hopes he can pull it off. Notices he's having a tough time, so she steps in and offers to give it a shot herself, wanting to see if she can handle it. Just lifts her hand, and out of nowhere, a small flame pops up right on her fingertips. The firewood lights up instantly, and he just can't help but be impressed by how skilled she is. He points out that her strength still isn't all the way back yet. She can still pull off a tiny flame whenever she wants, and it barely takes any energy. He couldn't believe his eyes, real magic right in front of him. His excitement kicked in hard, heart racing as he watched everything unfold. This was next level, and he was totally locked in. He wonders if she needs to throw up any hand signs or say some magic words to make her spells work. Lets her know she doesn't actually have to do anything special. She just needs to focus, lock in on her power, and push it with her own will. Didn't see that coming and wondered if she ever ends up burning her fingers doing stuff like that. She just looks kind of lost and says she never gets burned by fire. He jumps right in, tossing out a bunch of questions about how he can pick up the skill and what it's gonna cost him. Just sits there totally clueless, because the guy's talking way too fast for him to keep up. Out of nowhere, her cheeks turn red, and she catches herself thinking the main guy actually looks pretty good. She snaps out of it, reminding herself of all the stuff he's put her through. Thinking back, trying to remember the way he acted around her before. He doesn't want her to get fooled by whatever game he's playing now. While all this is going down, our guy checks in with the system, trying to figure out how to focus his energy so he can actually pull off some magic. Notices he's been acting off lately, and then the system pops up, saying he can swap his points for some new skills. She thinks back to when he looked out for her, and wonders what new skills he can snag now. The guy thinks being able to see only 10 seconds ahead is basically pointless. Doing lets him know the skills could get better if he upgrades them, but he checks the price and just isn't about to drop that much right now, so he holds off for later. While all this is going on, keeps an eye on him and notices he's not the same as before. Keeps cooking, but his mind keeps replaying everything he did earlier. She suddenly notices that he actually looks pretty good, and honestly he smells really fresh too. He could tell she was spaced out, and it got him thinking her corruption might start creeping back up. he suddenly thinks up a smart way to turn things around and make sure she notices him. He picks up the watermelon he grabbed earlier and holds it out for, hoping it'll pull her attention away. Wasn't expecting to see that fruit and just had to know where the melon came from. He tells how he ran into a girl from his own tribe, and she actually handed him the fruit as a present. She's straight up jealous, thinking that now that he looks good, he's out here getting attention from other girls and picking up their numbers like it's nothing. He thinks girls are into fruit, so he just hands it over, not really caring since sweets aren't his thing. Gets mad and straight up turns down the gift, saying she's not about that watermelon life at all. He keeps playing it cool, acting like she can't say no to anything he offers. He just drops the fruit on the table and heads out. He ends up grumbling about the kitchen, then dips out, telling her to have some real food ready for him next time. Outside, he checks in with the system, wanting to know if he moved fast enough and if things are chill now. Let everyone know it picked up on some wild emotions coming from KUFU, but it wasn't the usual corrupt stuff. He finally relaxed, glad things turned out alright, while the system just sat there trying to process this new feeling he had. At the same time, was straight up jealous. He couldn't stand that the guy just took gifts from anyone, and he shot the watermelon a look that could kill. Inside the house, he stares at the system screen, face serious, totally lost on what move to make next. He totally loses it when he notices he's sitting at just 46 points, thinking there's no shot he can level up with numbers like that. He gets himself together by reminding himself that the 7 villainesses are about to show up, and once they're here, racking up points is going to be a breeze. The idea instantly gets him hyped. He figures if he can win everyone over at the same time, his points might just double up. Right then, he starts daydreaming about all 7 of the corrupted girls, and just thinking about it gets him hyped. Reality kicks in, and he realizes just handling is already a grind. Trying to deal with 7 on top of that would be straight up wild. Out in the middle of the village, a guy steps up and lets everyone know what's going on. The elder lays it out. The guys are heading out to hunt and the women are set to pick cotton. Meanwhile, the warriors are keeping an eye on everything, making sure everyone stays on task. Right then, he looks around the crowd, searching for and spots her pretty fast standing with the rest of the slaves. Looks pretty annoyed right now. Lee tries to catch her eye and throws her a quick wink, just messing around to see if she'll notice. He didn't see it coming, just turned her head away and acted like he wasn't even there. He froze, not expecting her to brush him off like that. He's just standing there trying to process what's happening. Yesterday, he literally handed her a watermelon, now she's acting like this toward him. He's not having it, this just doesn't add up in his head. As everyone heads out, he just stands there, thinking about how much longer he's gotta keep up this whole tough guy act. In the end, he just thinks to himself how getting girls in real life is way tougher than it looks in those stories he reads. 5 days rolled by and he was still hanging around the square, not letting up. He wanted answers about why suddenly vanished. The tribe's elder basically tells him to leave because someone else is already on it, but still wants to hear what they discovered. The leader signals for the guards to step in. A guard walks over, and the elder wants to know why the hero's slave hasn't shown up yet. The man says Khufu never really clicked with the rest of the group, so she usually just kept to herself, working solo in the corner. He keeps going, saying he found out from the other slaves that someone from the dark tribe took her. Just snaps, grabbing him by the collar and letting him have it for slacking on his job. She's clearly mad that he didn't have her back when it mattered. The guard tries to brush it off, saying she doesn't matter because she's just a slave, and tells the hero he can always get a new one if she's missing. Just snaps, he's had enough of the guard messing up, so he goes straight for him, swinging a punch at his face. He's done with the dude being useless. The guy reacts quick and throws up his arm just in time, stopping the punch before it lands. They both end up scrapping on the ground, rolling around while everyone nearby starts talking. People say that without, he's basically done for and there's no way he's getting another slave. They both suddenly chill out and stop throwing hands. He steps back, making sure everyone hears him as he points out that wasn't just knocked out, he got taken. He's locked in, eyes set, totally sure that he's going to save her no matter what. He just turns around and heads out, not even looking back. The others start making fun of him, saying he's acting like he's all that even though he's just a slave. When he got back home, the system let him know that, even after everything he did, still ended up getting caught. Doing breaks it down, saying if they get to her before the main hero shows up, they'll be ahead of the game. The guy's all in. At the city gate, there's another duo who got reincarnated, just hanging out and talking about what they're gonna do next. The main guy wonders about the other system he picked up on, so he checks in with his own system to see what's up. Right now, the hero's system, Ding, lets him know it can't find where the other enemy system is hiding. Notices that Smaster should been gone by now, but the dude's still around. He starts thinking maybe this guy is actually the other user everyone's talking about. His system steps in and chills him out, reminding him that he's just a side character, but the main plot still centers on him. The hero, rocking a confident grin, decides he's going to go save and chill her out so she won't cause any more trouble. The system is down for it, pointing out that since treats her badly, he's actually making it easier for him to get closer to her. Out of nowhere, he sneezed and started thinking someone was gossiping about him when he wasn't around. Khufu's stuck with the Shadow Tribe now, a cursed group nobody wants anything to do with. Nobody wants anything to do with these people, so they end up stuck on their own, just drifting around in the darkness forever. One of the girls looks right at the new prisoner and her stomach is already growling. She's clearly hungry and not afraid to show it. Still stuck, chained up tight with no way out. She's starving and just can't deal with it any longer. She glances over at a sly grin spreading across her face like she's got something up her sleeve. With a knife in her hand, she steps in, saying she just wants to cut a small bit from the young girl. The leader steps in front of her, basically telling her to hang tight and deal with being hungry a bit longer. The woman with purple hair grabs the knife and notices that the prisoner they caught actually looks pretty good. She holds the blade right up to his neck. He doesn't flinch, just looks straight at her, totally locked in like nothing can shake him. The knife presses right up against the girl's skin, but she stays completely calm, not even flinching. The leader looks her over and decides using a knife on someone like her just doesn't make sense. The camera shows the blade pressed right up to her skin, and she's just frozen there, not moving at all. She gets closer too, taking a deep breath, like she hasn't caught a scent that good in forever. She looks like something just took her back to memories from before. Right after that, the leader just starts laughing, totally owning the moment like he's some evil boss from a movie. Even though people treat her badly, she just stays locked in and never backs down. The elder pulls him aside, letting him know that the Shadow Tribe is always lurking around the city. Heading out solo, that's just asking for trouble. He really didn't care at all and just shrugged off the offer for backup. He straight up acted like he didn't need any help from the same guys he'd just taken down on his own. The leader wanted to know why he'd go all out for when he never even liked her to begin with. He's locked in now, saying straight up he's got a real solid reason to go after the girl and save her. The elder wasn't buying it, so he just stared at him, wanting to know what was really up and why it was supposed to matter so much. In his head, the main character figures he needs a solid selfish reason to keep up his whole villain act. He smirked, thinking that basically did whatever he wanted. If anything ever happened to her, his own name would get dragged through the mud. The elder gets annoyed with how he's acting, but our guy stands his ground, making it clear his own honor is the most important thing to him. Lee pushes the guy back, making it clear he needs to mind his own business, and throws out another threat just to make sure he gets the message. The leader steps in and stops him, trying to hook him up with a new slave because he used to hang out with his dad. But the guy isn't having it. He turns him down, no hesitation. He didn't see that coming at all. The elder was actually chill with him, and he honestly thought it would be the opposite. He just shrugs off the warning and heads out of the village, with the doing system floating beside him the whole time. He's out there by himself, making his way across this empty, dark place, searching for where the Shadow Tribe is hiding. Right then he gets this cold chill down his back. He can tell something's off, like trouble's hiding somewhere close. The doing system freaks out, demanding to know who just showed up. Right away, our guy snaps to attention, ready for anything. He tenses up and scans the area, trying to spot where the danger came from. When the system noticed what was happening, it told him to pick up the danger sense skill so he could watch his own back. Lee thinks 45 points is just way too much, and he's worried he'll end up with nothing if he goes for it. He starts working his usual charm, hoping to score a discount, but out of nowhere, this dark figure steps in and shuts him down. Right then, a bunch of shadows came at the MC out of nowhere. He got caught off guard and let out a shout. With the moon shining above, all anyone can spot are some red drops just drifting in the air.